welcome to the Long Shot Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Amber Kenny. Happy to see you, happy to be hosting you. And I'm here alongside one of your other hosts, Sean Conroy. Hi,
Hello.
Sean, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good.
I like how you said I'm here alongside one of your other hosts, which makes it sound like
there's thousands of
there could be 20 of us, you know?
Well, technically, there are 3 other people who have been hosts.
Yeah. Right. So if somebody's coming here for the first time, they could be like, I don't know how many people are hosting.
Mm-hmm.
People who've been listening are like, yeah, those guys are never coming back. When are Sean and Amber going to admit it?
You guys got ditched hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's uncomfortable. It's not easy being dumped.
Yeah. So what's going on?
Well, I think we first of all have to address the thing.
I know what you're going to talk about, and I don't want to talk about.
The big news of the week, the big thing, the topic of the moment, the thing that everybody's talking about. Go ahead. You can give us your
my take.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's hilarious too because this is coming out a week later, so who knows how stale
the conversation will have changed. Yeah,
but I'm guessing you want to talk about the Oscars and the Will Smith Chris Rock incident.
No. I was talking about Ginny Thomas's texts to Mark Meadows during the insurrection.
Oh,
that's what I thought we were going to talk about.
Okay, great.
Yeah. No, let's talk about this. Let's talk about the slap.
I don't want to talk about either.
Let's talk about the slap at the Oscars.
Yeah. What are your thoughts? I feel like I saw you on Twitter. I feel like you have feelings and thoughts.
Well, I just look at it from the point of view of a stand-up comic, you know, where you get on stage and you tell jokes and there is a social contract that this is how this show works. And, you know, the crossing of that barrier is sort of unthinkable to me.
Right.
That somebody would go, you know what? I don't really like what that person on stage just said into the microphone. So I'm going to go up and I'm going to physically assault them. Did you watch it live? I did not. I was here. Where the fuck else would I be? Right. But I was in a chat or something with a couple of people and people were saying, oh, this thing just happened or whatever. And I was like, oh, that seems weird or whatever. And then I went and watched the Japanese TV version that we've all seen. And it really blew my mind. Like, I was like, holy shit. Like, that is fucking crazy. Like, that's fucked up. Because I look at it again, you know, I look at it from Chris Rock's point of view. I have done stand-up comedy. I have done shows with Chris Rock. I know what it's like to be in the situation of being on stage telling jokes, to have people upset at you, to have people berate you, to have people threaten you, to have people, I never got slapped, but I have had incidents on stage with people. And this is obviously a very, very different situation because he is on national television, international space, like space is getting this everywhere in space, you know, he's on space TV, which by the way, you can get that on Roku.
You probably can.
Yeah.
Probably on Pluto TV.
Right. Such a far away, cold planet, but still, you know, part of our solar system. But, you know, so there's a lot of like, or I actually don't know, but I would assume there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of running around. There's stage managers, this person, that person. Right. Okay, you're on in 3. Get ready. Just go. You know, like, and just trying to coordinate everything and time everything correctly and whatever, on top of just trying to tell your jokes. And, you know, I got to figure.
Well, and the fact that the audience isn't
just random people. Yeah, exactly.
It's not a regular paying audience that are coming to see you do stand-up. It's
not a bunch of people.
The most famous people in the world.
Yeah. It's not people who are like, hey, let's go down and see them talk about their balls. Obviously, I have high regard for stand-up comedy club audiences. But So, and also, you know, I know the amount of work it goes into crafting an incredible joke like that. Just kidding. But
that's I think, you know, the irony is like it's all over. Like Chris Rock is like, please stop saying that joke over and over and again. It's one of his worst jokes. Like, and that's what he's famous for now.
Right. By the way, it was hilarious to me that CNN had live reporters at his stand-up show tonight. Like they were outside the theater all day. Like, yes, Chris Rock will be coming in very soon. He's going to be going on stage for the first time since the incident this week.
Helicopters.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But I just put myself in Chris Rock's shoes because we have the same foot size. Mm-hmm. And he's on stage. He's just, what was he doing? He was
presenting the award for best documentary.
Okay. So he's presenting the best documentary award. He's there very briefly. He's not
he's not a host.
He's not there for a long time. So he's like, let me get out. Let me do the thing. I'll say a couple of things, then I'll do the documentary thing, and then I'll go and dance the night away at the Vanity Fair party or whatever. And he says the thing on stage. He says the joke, G.I. Jane, you know, can't wait till G.I. Jane 2, whatever it is. Then he goes, and he can tell nobody liked the joke. And I think he said that was nice, right? Like, in other words,
like I could have.
I'm being nice right now. I could have said more than that. Mm-hmm. Then he sees Will Smith, renowned Hollywood superstar,
the most famous people on the planet,
and known
and has been for quite some time,
right? And known for, above everything else, I mean, he's done all kinds of stuff. But what's the attraction to Will Smith? Like, what's his special sauce?
Humor.
Not just he's funny. He's a funny guy, right? Mm-hmm. He's a funny guy. Will Smith is a funny guy. So he sees this funny guy,
and he's like, "Oh,
towards him on stage." Yeah, he's like, "I don't know what the bit is. I got to be ready to roll with it." But he's got something in mind, and I'm going to try to service the bit in whatever way I can. Let's see what you got, Will Smith. Like, yeah, and I know everybody's saying, "Oh, this goes back to 2016." He said something about lots of people in 2016, you know? So Chris Rock is like, let's see what happens. Like, I don't know what he's going to do. Is he going to like, you know, pretend to hit me, or is he going to get in my face? Is he going to go, you know, put his arm around me? Like, what? He doesn't know what the bit is going to be, but it's definitely going to be a bit, because Will Smith is a funny guy. And then all of a sudden, Will Smith just slaps him across the face. And I just think Chris Rock must have been like, just mind blown, you know, like what? And I wrote about this in my newsletter this week. I had an incident once where I was at a show in New York. It was just a bar show, you know, tiny little stage and so I was on stage, and a big group of people came in, all guys came in from like a Metallica concert. And I don't know if you know Metallica fans, but they usually love to go see comedy shows after. No, they were just coming into the bar to get drinks. They were like, let's get fucked up. Let's get more wasted. It had to
have been really late, too.
Yeah. I mean, I think that show never even started until 10 o'clock or 10:15, 10:30. So it had to be midnight, you know?
Yeah. Because Metallica concerts, they're not like, it's 7:30, let's wrap it up.
Right. So it was late at night. They're just coming in to get more fucked up and reflect on how good Master of Puppets was, or whatever the fuck they just heard. And they walk, and I think probably because this was a bar show, and you know that moment when you walk into a bar and you just have to like adjust to whatever, like it's an unfamiliar space. You don't know where. Yeah.
Like your eyes literally have to adjust.
And you're like, I don't know what's going on in here. What kind of bar is this? Is it a karaoke? Yeah. what do I do? And are they going to seat me? Do I have to find my own seat?
Show my ID.
Yeah. So they came in.
There's not a lot of bars that seat people. That would be tight.
I guess I still think of Applebee's, but that's really more of a restaurant.
Yes.
But so they come in and walk right across in front of the stage. Like that was how you had to come in. And so I'm sure they didn't really understand what was going on.
They probably didn't know it was a comedy show even. They just knew it was a
until
bar.
a couple of the guys in the back were able, like the whole, there was like 20 of them, and they just trooped in like a troop of troops, and right across
analogy. Really painting a picture.
Yeah. And I'm a wordsmith and not a Will Smith. And the guy, one of the guys all the way in the back, realized it was a comedy show, realized I was telling jokes on stage. Excuse me. And he just turned around, like, and the stage was like, 8 inches off the ground or whatever. Right. It was not like, it was a bar. It was just a pallet on the floor, basically. So he just kind of stopped in front of me. He was like, give me the mic. I'll tell some jokes. Give me the mic. And I was like, what? No. And he grabbed the mic and tried to pull it away from me. So I'm like pulling the mic, and I was like, sit the fuck down and watch the show, or get the fuck out. And in my memory, they did sit down and watch the show. Now that could be, the mists of time. Right. Not right.
That's your brain protecting the fact that you murdered them all.
But what I do remember is that I then finished my set and I killed. No. I just remember that the whole time in my head, I was like, what the fuck just happened?
Right.
How is it possible that somebody just tried to grab the microphone from me?
And then you have to get off stage and just be in a bar with that person. Well,
that's a whole other issue. But I don't remember there being any trouble after that. But it was just in that moment being like, what? It was so surreal. It was just a bizarrely surreal experience that someone would feel that free to do something like that. And that was the thing that really stood out to me about the whole incident, was that Chris Rock was like, you could see him like trying to process it in his head and going like, all right. He said like, that was the most, the greatest moment in the history of television or something like that. And then he was like, all right, the nominees for best document. Like he was just
he out loud said like, we're just going to do the nominees. Like there must have been more jokes on the teleprompter, and he had to tell them.
But whatever the case, it just was so, he just rolled with it and was like so professional that that was what impressed me in that moment. And of course he was, because he's a stand-up comic who's been doing comedy for 900 years. Yeah. So he's been dealing with just the craziest shit. But this obviously takes the cake. So anyway, I just thought it was fucked up.
Yeah, it was fucked up. I watched it live.
Mm-hmm.
And
you're a big fan of the Oscars. You love the Oscars.
Yeah, sure. But yeah, I was watching the Oscars, and the whole show felt chaotic. I know that feels like undercutting, but like the whole show felt that incident was insane.
Mm.
But it like was on brand, if that makes sense. And did you watch Will Smith's acceptance speech at all?
No, I didn't. I mean, I've seen clips of it, but I would didn't turn it on.
It was even crazier. Like it's just, that man is not well. He's not okay.
I have heard speculation like that. I mean, I did see that he basically said, I just am trying to protect women everywhere. Like he claimed
he technically superhero said that, but it was so clear that he was just like this broken. Mm-hmm. I don't know. He was weeping the entire time he was getting the best actor award, and not like tears of joy. Like he was not okay. Right. He won best actor maybe 10-15 minutes after that incident. Like right. it was crazy. it was so crazy. My whole takeaway from it was
you went and rewatched G.I. Jane.
Well, it's kind of like she's hot.
Agreed.
Like,
yeah.
It's anyway.
And Jada Pinkett Smith looked great. Like I didn't know anything about whatever was going on with her, and I was like, wow, what a fucking striking looking woman.
Oh, she's gorgeous. Yeah. No, my takeaway was, I think we talked about this already on the podcast. It might have been pre-podcast because now everything's blurry already.
We've done it 4 times, yeah.
But that we're just not okay. Like these last 2 years.
Oh, that was before the podcast. But yes,
you're right. These last 2 years have been hard on people, including Will Smith. I'm not saying like that's an excuse. I'm not saying that like that makes it right. But we're all fucked up. We're all one incident away from just losing it. Even the most powerful, privileged, rich, accomplished people. Yeah, like I don't know. To me, it gave me empathy for like mankind as a whole, because like we're not okay. We're not okay.
Yeah, I agree. But I did think it was interesting that it immediately became such a narrative of justification for his actions. You know, like there was immediately such a huge outcry of like, that was totally valid for him to do that. And that's just stunning to me. That's stunning. Yeah. Like I can't imagine that we're living. I mean, I know we are, so I don't have to imagine it, but that we're still in a world where people are just like, you know what? If somebody says something to you that you don't like, you fucking smack them.
Yeah.
You smack them.
I feel like just last episode, am I crazy? Just last episode.
Are these related questions or no?
No, it's all just at random. You were talking about how people don't know that there's consequences to their words or something.
It's possible that I was saying that. Yes.
And it was something about like, if it weren't a stand-up comedian, if it was a completely different scenario. So I don't know what good.
See, this is sorry.
No.
Go ahead.
All
finish
the things
what
have
you're
been
very
say. Like, but what if it was a woman? And what if it was a wheelchair? And what if it was a bird? Like,
right. What if a robot attacked King Kong?
Like, I guess you're right. You proved your point. But I feel like you were saying that people act like assholes and that sometimes they just need to get like smacked. And I am not saying it the way that you said it, but the idea. So it's interesting.
Right. And I think that's probably, I mean, I've also been very much in the position of saying like, bring back dueling. Like if somebody says something wrong to you,
that's what we were talking about.
Them.
That's what it was. Yes.
But I feel like that's a
joke.
No. That's the foundation I've started. Ginny Thomas is supporting me. Yeah, it's an exaggeration. It's like a hyper exaggeration of like how crazy things have gotten. And I was trying to say like, this would not be happening if people were still, if you could just kill someone whenever you wanted to, you know, if that was the rule, or they would kill you either way. You would still have to think about it a little more than
there would be
behave now. Yeah.
Pretty weighted consequences.
But it was interesting. I mean, I was, and this was before the show and we don't have to get into it, but I was talking about this article that I just read in the Atlantic about why everybody is acting so crazy. And it was exactly about that. Like, and it was, you know, it was written in response to what happened on Sunday night with Ginny Thomas. I don't know if you heard about the text with the, but it was like, why is everybody behaving this way? And this author was basically saying exactly what you're saying, that Will Smith is also affected by all this, and things have gotten out of control because of the pandemic, and people are isolated and they don't feel connected to other people. So that takes away some of the consequence. And people are like, at one point in the article, she was talking about, people are yelling at other people and they're wearing masks. So it sort of dehumanizes the person who's receiving the brunt of your anger. They're not a person anymore. They're just a thing in a mask.
They're like an avatar.
Yeah. So why it doesn't matter if you tell them whatever the fuck you want to. But I do think like there was so much about how justified it was for Will Smith to do that. And I just found it remarkable that that's still a thing that people are like, no, he should do that.
I mean, I saw every take under the sun.
Well,
I saw people arguing both sides, neither side, all the sides. I think that's why I was like, let's not talk about it. Like, we don't need to have a take. Everyone has a take. It's exhausting.
But I guess I do feel like I wanted to say something, just because I do feel like it's weird. It's weird to me that somebody doing jokes would be attacked like that. And I thought it was, like I said, I thought it was funny that CNN had reporters outside his theater tonight.
Well, and it's funny because there's also people who think like it wasn't even real. It was all a bit. Like there's so many takes.
I think most of those, like I would get that. If I was watching it live, there might be a moment where I was like, oh, that has to have been a bit. But I think most of those people have been convinced by now. But I did see people like, what was it today? I saw somebody was like, I forget what the connection was, but it was like, there's a new drug coming out for alopecia. Do you get it now? That was what this was all about.
That Pfizer was one of the underwriters.
Right. And right. And so somebody was like, but I don't see how this,
because now we're talking about alopecia. No one
right. Like anybody who had it knew they had to do something about it before this, or that they couldn't, or that they wanted to.
Well, what I was going to say is, I think it's real. I'm not a truther. I watched it. It felt very, and again, I would say his acceptance speech, I was like, oh, this is real. This is not a human being who is happy about what he just did 10 minutes ago. But now like the line is so blurry because people kept getting upset about like different things Amy Schumer did.
Yeah.
I was like, no, that was a bit that they were all in on. Like,
right. The seat filler thing. Yeah. I saw that. Yeah.
How dare she disrespect? I was like, that Jesse Plemons is a good actor. He sold it too well, but that was a bit.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's, I mean, whatever.
The line between reality and
right. But again, I saw a thing today that was talking about propaganda and the new version of like misinformation online.
Oh, good.
That Russia is using. Flavor. Yeah. So apparently, and I couldn't even, I read through it like 4 times and I was trying to wrap my brain around how this works. Let me see if I can explain it to you. I'm sure I'm going to fail, but basically what it is let's say I take a picture and I'm trying to think of a picture. It's not a picture. It's a painting. No, I'm trying to think of a good example. I don't want to use like war examples. Well, let's say I take a picture. I have a picture. I post a picture online of myself wearing a shirt that says, I hate Amber. Okay. Right. And everybody goes, oh, you
hate Amber. Me too, or I don't.
Sorry. No. I already fucked it up. This is what I would do. I would post a picture online of me wearing a shirt. And by the way, it would be a picture.
We're like 3 hours in.
This is how it goes sometimes. I would
be wearing a shirt.
I would take a picture of myself wearing a shirt that says "I love Amber." Then I would put it in my computer and I would Photoshop it so that it says "I hate Amber."
Okay.
Then I would post it online and say, "Look, I found this fake photo that says I hate Amber, but that's not true because here's the original photo that says I love Amber. So you can't trust anything you hear from people because they're faking photos that say I." So in other words,
so you discredit yourself like before you even start.
Correct. So there's no record of that photo ever showing up on the internet, but I'm saying this is out there. Lots of people are doing it, saying it. Don't listen to anything those people say. And of course, I would choose specific targets. Like I would say, the US media is publishing all sorts of photos of me wearing a shirt that says I hate Amber. And people would see the fake photo with the real photo and the thing saying this is what the US media is doing.
And they would know to not trust anything they say is like the takeaway.
Right. Nobody's going to sit there and go, let me search through Western media and see if there's really a picture of, they're going to go, wow, that's fucked up. I can't believe the Western media is doing that. I guess I really can't believe anything they say.
Western media. I know that is what it's called, but I just like picture a bunch of people with like cowboy hats, like the like reporter badge, cowboy hat, you know?
Or also like an editor with like the shade over his and like his sleeves rolled up with like garter belts around his arms, but with like what are they called, spurs on, so like when he walks and he's in a gunfight. But anyway, it's all, I think it's all a continuum of like, what is the truth? Like, can't believe anything I see anymore because so much stuff is fake. Right. This show is not happening right now. Yeah. It's funny. I see it at work because I have to read comments on things and it is not as extreme as anything you're talking about, but it's a microcosm of it where somebody will say, like, we'll post something in support of trans rights. And then people will say, how can they support that? They're Disney. They're supporting the opposite. And then somebody else will say, they're not Disney. And then somebody else, like, I don't even chime in. I just watch it play out. And then somebody is like, oh, you really believe that the conglomerate of Disney doesn't own DreamWorks? Like, and it's just like, what? There's also, this is another, this is going to be a 4-hour conversation. Disney, like, but it's weird to frame it as like, you really believe that they aren't Disney. Like, I don't know. But there's also the idea that, or not, but I shouldn't say, but I should say yes, and there's also the idea that any statement can be parsed in numerous directions, right, to take away something negative and turn it into a whole other thing. Like if I tweet out, today is Thursday, I love Thursday, somebody's invariably going to go, why the fuck do you hate Wednesday? Right. And then somebody else is going to go, in my culture, Thursdays are when people got murdered, and like it's disrespectful to say that. It's not even, you're not a day. How are you able to even talk about what days you love if you're not a day? So it's just, social media. I guess the ultimate conclusion is social media has fucked everything up for everybody. Mm-hmm. And that's why Will Smith smacked Chris Rock. And it makes sense. I've come around. I did see this take online that I thought was really interesting. Again, it's not a defense in any way, but I thought it was really interesting that Will Smith, out of anyone, has lived this sort of straight and narrow PR existence. Like, he's never stepped out of line. He's always, as a Black man, he's always been very digestible and consumable
by the white public. Like
parents just don't understand.
But he's like not threatening in any way.
Mm-hmm.
He's not angry in a way that it like he's just.
Well, a lot of people don't realize that parents just don't understand was about the blood parents.
No, but you know what I'm saying. Like he was
100%.
He was like this sort of squeaky clean guy, in theory, all in pursuit of winning an Oscar, and the mask slipped 10 minutes before. Like that's wild, right?
That's crazy. It's really, really crazy. But I guess my takeaway is please don't hit stand-up comics.
My takeaway is don't hit anybody.
Well, some people deserve it. I say bring back dueling. If people were going to get hit.
See, you have some mixed messaging happening on this episode.
No, the reality is there were a lot of people saying like, well, there's a lot of factors going on. People have to understand there's certain things that make it okay for him to hit and, whatever. And like, all I could think is I taught junior high school in New York City for years. And one of the things we worked so hard on was literally took workshops on conflict resolution, how to avoid violence with inner city kids who were confronted with violence all the time.
Right.
That was a major part of what we were doing.
Like the language they knew on some level.
Right. And it was like, okay, well, what if instead of punching someone, you tried to find another way, what if you use
your words?
Yeah. What if you use I statements? This is how this makes me feel. It was all this stuff about giving people strategies where they didn't have to be violent. And like, then to go, well, sometimes you just got to smack somebody. It was disappointing in some ways. It doesn't mean I'm not going to punch somebody sometime soon.
Oh boy.
All right. Well, enough about all that. Let's talk about the really important stuff. What's up with Ginny Thomas? Just kidding. So checking in, Amber.
Yeah, I alluded that I might have something to talk about in the last episode, and I do. I did something completely insane. I went to Las Vegas last weekend. It was my good friend Tess's birthday, and
I know Tess.
Yes, she's great. She freed Brittany. She threw herself a big party in Vegas, and it was planned for a long, long time. I think I maybe even talked about it on this podcast where I was like, I don't know if I feel like I'm ready to do it, but I love her so much.
Right.
So it's like, okay, I guess I'm throwing everything out the window. But Jeff and I went, we flew. So we were there less than 24 hours. We stayed in the same hotel that the party was. And it was fun. Like, it was really insane to land in Las Vegas on an airplane because I've flown once before in the pandemic, and it was to go to Omaha to visit Jeff's family. But it was Burbank to the Omaha airport, which are both fairly sleepy, small airports.
Right.
The Las Vegas airport is not that. I think it's a hub. Like, so even people who aren't going to Las Vegas, like it's a huge airport.
Right.
And as soon as you land, like, there's slot machines, there's people as far as the eye can see. Like,
anytime you want to get to Chicago from New York, you got to go through Las Vegas.
There you go. Is that true?
No.
It could be. I don't know.
So there's a lot going on in Las Vegas.
Chicago's a hub too. But yeah, so immediately it was like humanity overload. Yeah. Like, this may have been a big mistake because we are just in the airport and I'm like overwhelmed. But we got to the hotel pretty easily. We hung out and the party was really fun. Like, wrong or right, I don't know. There might be judgment from you, from listeners, from everyone.
Here it comes. Get ready.
I had to kind of just put everything, like I just had to pretend that I wasn't freaked out by everything in order to enjoy this. And I will say it was lovely. Like Jeff and I wore masks anytime we weren't in the hotel room, and I was kind of braced to get shit from people. Like that is the horror story that everyone was so sweet. Everyone was lovely. And we would be in the elevator with people and they weren't wearing masks, but we were, but they were still chit chatting. Like Jeff and I both were like, are we actually the assholes? Like, is everyone fine? I don't know.
It's a strange time.
It's strange. And everyone just, wants to have a good time. It's been a hard 2 years. And her party was really fun. I got to see people I haven't seen in years, as you can imagine. And she hired a Liza Minnelli impersonator to perform. Like it was fun. And we flew out the next morning.
What did the Liza Minnelli, did she sing Cabaret?
Oh, yeah. Oh, big time. I love a piano, a lot of things. Yeah.
But I mean the actual song Cabaret.
Yeah. Yes,
like no, from the musical Cabaret?
Understood the question.
From the musical Cabaret.
No, yeah, she sang that genre all the time.
Sure, she sang some cabaret songs. She had a feather boa around her neck.
She opened with Cabaret, I believe. She didn't have a feather boa. She was kind of like older Liza, so she was wearing like a black sequin blazer and then a red scarf. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like that Liza look. Wheelchair
or no?
No wheelchair.
I don't know if you saw the Oscars.
I did, and so the Will Smith stuff happened, and I was like, "This is so crazy." And then Liza Minnelli comes on stage, and I was like, "This is like, what is this weekend?" Because we were just watching it because we were so tired because we had just come back from Vegas.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, it was really fun. I've never been to Vegas with Jeff before, so I kept trying to like on the way there, like be like amped, like Vegas trip, like it is when I go with my girls. And he was like, I'm kind of tired. This is not the vibe that I want. Right
I get it.
But he had a good time. I think.
Good.
Yeah.
Did you guys win any money?
I did not gamble a cent.
It seems like a missed opportunity because my understanding is you can win a lot of money there.
Oh yeah. And the odds are great. They're in your favor.
The odds are always in your favor.
So here's an interesting tidbit.
Yeah.
We all went downstairs. People wanted to like smoke cigarettes, and you can't smoke in the hotel room during the party. And so we all were standing in front of the hotel. It was the Rio. And
Dances on the Sand.
Yes. And it was a warm, nice night. And the Penn and Teller show is in the Rio. So it had just gotten out, and there was just a line of people waiting for cabs that had left the show. But I don't know if we were just too rowdy or what. All of the people who had left Penn and Teller were standing completely silently. Like, not a smile, not a laugh, not chit chat among them.
It's because Penn and Teller, their watches and wallets were all missing.
I was like, what happened in that show? Did they just watch a puppy get murdered? Like it was the most joyless.
My partner Teller will take this puppy and place it in this meat grinder.
It was so wild. And if anything, they were like looking at us like, you're having fun. It's like, well, we're gonna do that.
We have cigarettes. We're smoking. We haven't smoked in 2 years.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just we were really laughing thinking about like what could have possibly happened in that show.
My partner Teller would like to remind you there is another variant on the way, and by being here tonight, you have placed yourselves in tremendous danger.
I mean, totally. The other guess that I made was like maybe their minds were just so freaked
Mhm.
Like the magic was so amazing that their concept of reality was stripped away.
You're thinking of Chris Angel, mind.
I know, but that they lost language, their mind was so boggled.
I bet it is mind-boggling. I bet those guys are really good. I've heard good things about them. I think they have a future.
Smile, right. Hey, remember this part?
How did they do that?
Yeah, like
he was first. It was a lady, and then all of a sudden, it was a gorilla. How is that possible?
On last Friday, on a work Zoom, people are like, "So, what are you doing for this weekend?" And I was like, well, anyway, point is it became like shorthand where it was like, oh, Amber's going to get COVID this weekend.
Yeah.
But so far, so good.
So far, so good. Well, no judgments from me because I also went and spent time in public this week.
What'd you do?
Well, I had a friend in town.
Hello. Not sexy, just like Penn and Teller.
Hello? Yeah. Hello.
I just saw Penn and Teller. Hello.
And she was staying downtown and she was like, do you want to come to dinner at this hotel? And I never turned down a dinner invitation. So I drove down there on Friday. And by the way, well, I'll get into that later. But it was the Hotel Figueroa. I don't know if you've ever been to the Hotel Figueroa.
I've crashed the pool there before.
Right. And how long ago was that? Was that a long time ago?
Oh, I just realized probably 10 years ago.
Well, in my memory, it was kind of a ramshackle place, right? Like run down a little bit.
Mm-hmm. But like historic. Like you could tell it used to be a really nice place.
Right. It was where like Jack Palance, fucked Fay Ray in the men's room or so, there was always like some plaque somewhere that says
plaque that said honey, take a picture next to the plaque.
We could put it on our Instagram stories. But anyway, it's been completely redone. So it was like nothing like what I remembered it being. And so it's like very fancy and very nightclubby. Like you walk in and there's like four, she was like, there's like four bars. Like there's an upstairs bar and there's a bar over here and there's a bar over here. All of which, by the way, of course, are cranking whatever their music is. Yeah. And whatever. So are we talking four
competing?
Yeah, different music in every, in the Hubba Hubba Lounge, they're playing EDM. In the Nasty Funk joint, they're playing rock and roll.
You'd think they play funk, but whatever.
Who knows what their programming?
Their branding needs some work.
Yeah. But so I walked in and I had my mask on. This is kind of what you were saying about Vegas. It was packed with, well, not packed, but there was a huge crowd there. There was lots of people there. It wasn't like elbow to elbow, but it was full. Not a mask in sight. No one anywhere. And it was a big high ceiling place, whatever. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll take my mask off. And then my friend showed up and we sort of hung out at the bar. And then we went to have dinner in the restaurant and she had made reservations. It was like, I mean, it's a fancy restaurant and you have to, do that whole thing where you go, what kind of food was it? I guess maybe Italian-ish. I think she had, I think it was Italian. I think she had like squid ink pasta and I had like some kind of pizza or something, which doesn't sound fancy, but like when they bring you a little thing of hot sauce or like red pepper and hot sauce and honey to put on your pizza, it's like, that's a level above like, hey, Tony, get in here and have a couple of slices. You want a couple? Right. You want that hot? You want it to go? What do you want? Box it up? No.
No, I thought you were saying like when they bring you Cholula, it's a good one.
No.
Tabasco, right on the tip.
Right.
Need to get more.
But it was very crowded, and there was a big line out by the hostess table. I don't know what you call it. The
stand,
the air traffic controller situation. And so we were kind of waiting there, like, going to give her name. And as we got close to the front, the woman at the desk looked up and was like, Sean, I used to come see you in ASCAT all the time.
Oh my God.
Yes. So that was awesome because,
now you look like a celebrity.
Yeah. It's always great to be recognized, but it's especially great when there's somebody there to see it,
Right. And you're like, oh yeah, this happens to me all the time.
I was like, I still have clout in this town. It's been 2 years, but it never goes away. So then we went to have dinner. And as I said, we ordered the things we ordered, but she also ordered a drink, which I did not understand or was familiar with the name of, nor was I couldn't understand what the ingredients or whatever, except the only thing I heard at the end was it has, this and this and this and strawberry air. And I was like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, how do you even know there's air in your drink? Like,
I mean,
isn't there air in every drink?
There's gotta be.
Yeah. But when they brought the drink out, it was on a plate. So it was a cup, a glass, a receptacle on a plate with a cloche over it, like a glass.
No,
cover.
That's like in movies when you make fun of a fancy.
Yeah, and there was like fog inside. Somehow there was
the strawberry.
And so they lift it up, and the strawberry fog comes out over the table, and that was weird. Like I was like, that is.
It's probably really expensive. It sounds really expensive.
I'm sure it was. Well, that was the other thing was, she was like, I'm paying for dinner. So it's okay. She knows that I'm not going to go to the most expensive restaurant in town. She was like, I'm paying for dinner. So then the check came and it was missing a bunch. Like, she's like, the 2 salads aren't on there. This thing isn't on there. This thing isn't on there, whatever. So she said to the server, she was like, the check is screwed up. A lot of the stuff is not on the check. And the server was like, oh yeah, she comped you guys all that stuff. So because I was an improviser. Yeah. We got a bunch of free stuff for our dinner.
That's great.
Yeah, it was fun. Did
she enjoy that strawberry air drink?
I think she did. It was funny because when she ordered it, I mean, first of all, we were packed in, like, when you go into a restaurant and it's just 2 tops right next to each other all the way around. And I hate that. I really don't enjoy being able to overhear the conversations on either side of me.
And I find myself like tense. I don't know. Like I'm like trying to take up less room for other people, but I'm allowed to be there too.
It was also like the music was so loud. And then there was a waiter who came to take the order at the next table. And he had figured out how to pitch his voice so that it was louder than the music. So he was shouting at the people about their order, but he was Italian. And the woman at the table was like, oh, you're from Italy? I've been to Italy. So he was there for like 15 minutes going, and so we're trying to have like a normal conversation, whatever. It was that part of it was, although what was funny, this is how you know that we are getting older, is like neither of us said anything about it until we emailed each other the next day.
Amazing.
Because when I was younger, I'd be like, this is fucking bullshit, but not anymore.
Why won't you now?
Just because I was really happy to see her and I didn't want to like ruin the moment by going like, this sucks.
Yeah.
No, I know her enough to know that it was bothering her too, but there was just way more interesting things to talk about than how annoying it was that it was so loud, But when she ordered that drink, the people who were sitting on the other side of us leaned over and were like, it's amazing. You're going to love it. It's so good. Well, I'm glad we ordered it then. That's good. So anyway, that was my big thing of the week. And it felt a little, yeah. I mean, I'm with you on what you're saying about being in Vegas of like, am I going to get COVID? Maybe.
Yeah. Was this
we'll see,
the dumbest idea? But
right. So
yeah, I feel like we're in this land of you just have to like hedge your bets and
well, and I said to her, because I really don't know. And I said to her when I was leaving, we were in the lobby, and I was like, are we like, what is going on with masking at this point? Or are we? And she was like, she was here for a convention, and she had been at all these lectures that day and stuff. And she was like, yeah, I was in all these rooms. And like, I'm like, if I'm going to sit there and watch somebody talk to a large group of people for an hour and we're all just sitting there, I am wearing my mask, but nobody else was wearing their masks. So I don't quite know where we are, you know?
Yeah.
I certainly would rather not, but I don't know that that's a great idea.
Yeah, I know.
And anywhere I've been the last couple of weeks, like supermarket, train station, you know,
Farm.
dance club, bordello, yeah, anywhere I've been,
blacksmith.
It's very mixed, you know. Some people do, some people don't.
Right.
Including people who work there. Like some of the people who work in these places are wearing masks and some are not.
I know.
It's fucked up. You want to just do parting shots and then we'll get the fuck out of here?
Sure.
What's your parting shot?
Yeah. Tuesday was.
Oh, so you hate Wednesday then, huh?
I see how it is. Was our 3-year wedding anniversary.
Oh, congratulations.
Thanks. It was, it's pretty crazy because we haven't had an anniversary outside of a pandemic yet. And our first anniversary, our plan was to go to Las Vegas to like eat at these nice restaurants that we saw on a TV show or something. And we had tickets, hotel rooms, everything. Obviously that was all canceled because it was March 2020. So it was kind of interesting that we got to go on this trip a few days before. Like it felt, Jeff in his card to me was like, we're baby stepping it. We're almost making it to Vegas for our anniversary. But it was really nice. It was laid back. We both worked that day. So I knew it was going to be laid back. And the gift that I got him was delayed. So it wasn't going to be there on time.
Perfect.
I know. So I was like, ugh, whatever. But it's fine. You know, we'll hang out tonight. It is what it is. But as the day went on, it was such just a normal Tuesday that by the end of the day, I was like pissed. I was pretty mad. And I was like, we're not even doing anything. And he didn't plan anything. And he doesn't even give me anything. And like, what are we even doing? I was getting myself pretty riled up. And I had like a hard day at work and I was so hungry. And he's like, so should I like make some chicken? And I was like, no, it's our anniversary. Like, let us order a nice meal at least. And then he's like, what do you want? And I was like, like, I wish that we had talked about this 2 days ago. Like, I don't want to be having this conversation right now.
This is not how we're supposed to spend our anniversary.
Yeah. And I think I was just dehydrated and tired still from Vegas. But anyway, he's like, oh, well, hold on a second. And he came out and he brought a gift bag that was like half the size of me. And I was like, oh, I'm an asshole. Like, he's really sweet. And what he got me was, and I feel like you'll appreciate this, like everything to make martinis.
Oh,
the martini
nice.
classes, a shaker, which I didn't have a real shaker. Whenever we'd make cocktails, we'd kind of fake it with like two mugs, but like a real shaker.
Which always pissed off James Bond.
Yeah, exactly. olives, vodka, vermouth, like even the little stick for the olives. And it's because that's the drink that I had at our wedding.
Ah.
So it was really sweet.
Yeah. So
And
did
I
you
was
have
like,
some?
yeah, and we watched Summer of Soul, which was the documentary that
Right.
won, that Chris Rock gave the award to. Everything ties back. So it was really, really nice. But I was like, I needed to not get, because I started the day being like, yeah, it's going to be mellow. It's going to be mellow. But by the end of the day, I was like, it's just a Tuesday.
Right. No, I get it.
Anniversaries are tough because it's like hard to know, to anticipate what the other person is doing and like scale your efforts, because you kind of have to be on the same page.
Right.
Like if one person does a ton more than the other person,
it's fucked up.
It's not good.
Yeah.
Anyway,
bad sign.
His gift came today and I gave it to him and he loved it and we're all good.
That's good. Okay. I don't have a lot for parting shots. The only thing I'll say is that it came out in the news this week that UCB has sold the UCB brand, which ostensibly means that the theater will reopen at some time in the near future, within the next couple of months, supposedly, maybe a few months, whatever.
But who knows what it will
What's
be
going
like.
to happen. Yeah. Well, who knows what it'll be like is right. And who knows what's going to happen between now and then. But it'll be interesting to see. And I was just at least glad that there was some movement on that something is happening. But who knows? But it was funny. We had a meeting with a bunch of people that work there on Zoom with some of the people who are buying the place to say, like, this is what we're planning to do and whatever. And it, of course, didn't help in any way or clarify anything, at least for me. But it was funny because the guy, like, I just have no idea who these people are or what their story is or anything. And the guy in the meeting was like, somebody asked a question about something or whatever, and I can't even remember, but he just, one of the first things he said was like, yeah, well, the way we look at it is we just want Second City to be a place where, UCB to be a place. And I was just like, oh, that does not bode well.
Are they just buying up all the improv schools to make like a conglomerate of marginally successful improv theaters?
So we'll see.
Wow.
But hopefully the theater will open back up and I'll be able to perform again at some point.
Would you teach there again?
Well, I'm teaching online for them right now.
Okay.
And I don't know what their plan is as far as getting a space to teach classes in.
Oh, right. They lost that whole Sunset building, right?
Well, not only that, but, there was always a knock on the Sunset space because the performance space was a difficult space to perform in.
But the classrooms were incredible.
The classrooms were great.
Yeah.
But people were, it was like a junior high school or something.
It was more for that, I think, than performance space.
Right. But it still was a theater, and people, we did ASCAT there every Sunday night, and people really did not enjoy performing in that space because it was gigantic.
It was strange. The audience was very, very, very far away. And it was like huge, cavernous.
Yeah. And they said,
even if people were dying laughing, it would feel like you were
right. And for me, it was always hard to get people to laugh at all. So for that to, resonate at all was very difficult. But anyway, the point is that somebody was like, so you're looking for another space. Is it going to be better than the Sunset space? And somebody in charge was like, just so you guys know, the Sunset space is currently for rent and we are not looking at it and we're not interested in it. So,
that's not what I asked, but okay.
Well, no, but I think that's good because it means that they've sort of dealt with the fact that it was not a good place to perform it. I think there was always a thing, and I was definitely part of this where it was like, this is great. Like, we have this extra space, like, we'll use it. It'll be great. And I did have lots of really, really fun shows there. And I got very used to it because I performed there all the time. But I think for anybody coming in who hadn't performed there, it was a little
jarring.
Yeah. So they were like, yeah, we're not doing that again. We're looking for a space that's more like the other space. So we'll see. So that's not a great parting shot, but at least, there's some movement in that. So that's it.
All right. Peace be with you. What do we do now?
Go forth and multiply.
Okay.
Folks, this has been The Long Shot. It is a podcast. Thank you for listening. We will see you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Location can't be positioned specifically, it's highly intrinsic. The way you were trained, I adore ya. So much that the floor you were on just fell out from the sudden decay. I don't want to have to frighten or haunt you. I just need a costume for a couple of days. It might cost you. But let's move to a city where the major league teams are bad, so the tickets are cheap and we can go to the games every day.